You see him every morning on Good Morning Football. You can hear him calling NFL games on Westwood One. It is great to visit with Jason McCourty. Jason, you played in the NFL for 13 years. You were a captain in New England. You've seen it all. And you were in the booth last Thursday when Joe Burrow suffered his wrist injury. What would you say to the Bengals going forward as they prepare to play for the first game without Joe?
They're going to have to rally around their new quarterback in Jake Browning. And it's obviously always tough when a starter goes down. But I think for the Bengals, for fans, if you're an NFL fan, seeing Joe Burrow go down, you just absolutely hate it. He's one of our league superstars. He's a guy that when he's out there in the field, you feel like the team can do anything. But I will say, Jake Browning comes in the game, comes out of halftime, leads them down there, kicks a field goal. He was impressive in the snaps that he did get in the game.
It was his first extended opportunity to play in an NFL game. Anything particular stand out while he was in there in the second half?
I would say poise. I think you get into a game in a hostile environment on the road, a division game, and you get an opportunity like that, one that you're not expecting. Moving forward for him, it'll be different. You'll be preparing all week to be the guy. Offense will be tailored around you. You go into that game and you're expecting Joe Burrow to continue to play as he's done so. And then next thing you know, you're thrown into the fire. And there wasn't any huge mistake, no big interceptions. He got in the game. He led their offense and was poised. I would say that's the biggest thing because you want to see that from a young guy that gets in that hasn't seen much NFL action.
You played defensive back for more than a decade. The Bengals have a lot of young secondary members right now. Cam Taylor-Britt, Dax Hill, DJ Turner, Jordan Battle. What do you think of these guys, and what's the toughest thing for them being at this stage of their career?
I think it's learning and picking everything up and playing as a cohesive unit. You think about the Bengals, and a huge fan of the defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo. Got a chance to talk to him a little bit before the game, and over the past few years, you've watched them in the secondary, and you've seen Bates and Von Bell, those guys running it and disguising and moving around and doing all types of different things. And now both of those guys move on in one single season, and now you're throwing DJ Turner, you bring Nick Scott out there, and we saw more of Jordan Battle on Thursday night. So the main thing, especially in Lou's defense, is getting up to pace, being on the same page.
You played both corner and safety in the NFL. You undoubtedly covered some of the all-time great receivers. What do you think of Ja'Marr Chase?
Ja'Marr Chase is a guy, I got a chance to see him before the game, and my brother sat down with him actually before the Sunday night game, and I also used the phrase my brother said when he first met him. He said, watching you play, I'm very happy I don't play in the NFL anymore. And that would be how I characterize Ja'Marr Chase. He's just unbelievable. His ability on the outside to go get the ball, his route running ability, but then you mix that into just his run after the catch. He's a guy that is just as explosive once the ball is in his hands. And I think what makes him so tough is the weapons that surround him as well. When you have a T. Higgins on the other side, makes it a lot harder to double team him. And you saw that them missing T those last two games. But Ja'Marr Chase, unbelievable talent.
It's been a roller coaster ride of a season. Joe's calf injury contributed to a slow start. He got healthy. They won 4 in a row. Now they've got to go forward without having Joe available. What did you think of the Bengals going into the season? And is this just life in the NFL?
It's definitely life in the NFL, and obviously going into the season, extremely high hopes for the Bengals. And then, like you just said, Joe goes down with that calf injury, and it's a slow start. Now, moving forward, you have a new quarterback. You got to figure out a way to get more out of Joe Mixon. He's a guy that when he gets the ball, he seems extremely productive. Their offense was just based more around Joe Burrow with the ball in his hand. I think moving forward, we'll see more of Joe Mixon. You'll see a lot of those plays where they're getting the ball on the outside, to whether it's Ja'Marr Chase with blockers in front, and those plays kind of gets the ball out of the quarterback's hands quick and gets the ball in space as well. And it got the Pittsburgh Steelers up next, a division opponent.
So, Jason, as you noted, the Steelers are coming up this week at Paycor Stadium. Pittsburgh is 6-4, but 28th in points scored, 28th in total yards. What do you think of Kenny Pickett and the state of the Steelers' offense?
They've struggled. Watching the Pittsburgh Steelers is almost like an anomaly. You're watching them, and it's just like there's no way this team has a winning record because, to your point, they've been outgained yardage-wise, I think, in every single game except one, and they've still found a way to have a winning record and right there in the playoff race. And if it ended today, at the end, whoever you want to place the blame on, the offense just hasn't been good enough. And Tomlin alluded to that a week ago where he said he needed more out of Kenny Pickett in the offense. This past Sunday against the Cleveland Browns, obviously one of the best defenses in the NFL, they weren't able to do that. And to me, watching it, if they don't find a way to get more out of the offense, they're going to end up just a little short.
So the Bengals are 5-5 with 7 games to go. If they win this week and they get some help from some other teams, they could climb into the 7th and final playoff seed in the AFC with 6 games to go. Give us a couple of keys for what the Bengals will need to do to beat the Steelers this Sunday.
Well, one thing I alluded to is they have to find a way to get Joe Mixon going. I think getting the ground game, it'll obviously slow the game down. It'll allow them to possess the ball for a lot longer. I think on the defensive side of the ball, the way that Pittsburgh has struggled to put points on the board and be able to move the ball, if Cam Taylor-Britt, whatever his health situations are, they're going to need to be able to find a way to continue to slow down that offense. And Jalen Warren, he was unbelievable. He was the one spark plug when you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. And then for Jake Browning, let it loose. I think for a backup quarterback, sometimes you go in and you're timid, and obviously Zach Taylor's going to design the offense to make it a little easier for him. But you prepare for such a long time for an opportunity to be a starter in the NFL. Go out there, play confident, and just go out there and let it fly.
Good Morning Football is the best sports show on TV, and you are a big reason why. Jason, we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Oh, anytime. Thanks for having me.